What's up, everybody? Thanks as always for supporting the show. It would mean a lot to me if you would take a second to scroll down and hit that subscribe button to the Hoops Tonight YouTube channel, and then follow me on social media on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter so you guys don't miss any of our content over the course of this season. All right, let's talk some basketball. All right, let's move on to Draymond and his return to the Warriors. So Draymond had a quote after the game saying, "We can't check, we can't guard." It was a really ugly loss for the Warriors last night in Memphis against a team without Desmond Bane, Ja Morant, or Marcus Smart. But that was kind of a vague answer from Draymond about their defense. And so I wanted to do a deep dive into the specific run of the game when they blew it. It was a 17-point swing. They went up 7 in the late third quarter on a Jonathan Kuminga transition dunk. Yet they were down 10 with about 7 minutes left in the fourth quarter. So they were outscored by 17 in a short window. And I wanted to zoom in on the defensive possessions, at least each one of the buckets that Memphis got, to see what specifically was going wrong with Golden State's defense. So let's take a little bit of a deep dive there. So first of all, when they were up 7 on Kuminga's transition dunk, the Grizzlies got 2 quick threes to end the fourth quarter based on overhelp situations. There was a double team of Jaren Jackson that led to a rotation, and Lester Quinones had a David Roddy contained, literally cut him off. But Jonathan Kuminga, strong side corner, for whatever reason, just decided to double team David Roddy, even though Quinones did not need help, and there was a quick, easy kick out to the corner to Jacob Gilyard, who made a 3. Very next possession, Jonathan Kuminga, I think it was Sarge, turns it over on the baseline. And Jaren Jackson kind of in transition is driving, and they got him contained. I think it was Trace Jackson Davis at this point, has him contained, and Sarge overhelps and leaves David Roddy. Top of the key. And again, there's a difference between guy has an angle and you're swinging down to kind of disrupt that angle, and like guy has chested the offensive player up and has him squared up and he has no advantage, and now you're just helping for no reason, right? 2 quick threes, now it's a 1-point game. Also, it was a tough lineup offensively for Golden State at that stretch. It was Jonathan Kuminga, Brandon Podziemski, Dario Saric, Trace Jackson Davis, and Lester Quinones. There's not a single top 100 NBA player in that group. So there's a talent element there. That's a great example of why trading for a higher level player is so necessary for this team, because it'll give them the ability to stagger and have more talent on the floor in some of these lineups, right? Then to start the fourth quarter, Draymond Green had a bad closeout on Zaire Williams on the right wing, where he kind of chased him off the line and then reached behind him. And as a result, instead of closing out short or shorter and containing, he reached. Zaire drove, got a blocking foul, got 2 free throws. Grizzlies take the lead. Then there was a bomb over Dario Saric from Jacob Gilyard. Really good defense the whole possession. Just a tough, like 27-foot contested 3, so you live with that one, right? After that, Brandon Podziemski was guarding Luke Kennard out of the left corner and fell asleep for a second, was late chasing him off the screen, had to panic chase him, and fouls a 3-point shooter. That took away a 3 that Steph had just made a 3 on the other end. Now Kennard goes down and makes 3 free throws. Then there was a transition possession where Clay kind of faces up Jacob Gilyard, and he hits a little jab step jumper, but he misses it off the back rim. On the other side of the floor, Podziemski was back screening for Steph below the foul line. And so the guy he was screening, they switched it. The guy he was screening was on his top side, and the other guy went with Steph. So suddenly they just had a quick 2-on-1 the other way. Kuminga was the only one back. It was really bad floor balance. Quick swing ahead pass. Zaire Williams gets a left-handed layup. That's bad offense leading to transition, like an unbalanced floor leading to an easy transition layup. Then there were a couple of plays here where Kevon Looney came way too high out of his drop coverage. So Kennard runs a dribble handoff with Xavier Tillman. Tillman throws it to Kennard. Kennard comes over the top. Brandon Podziemski's in trail position. He's there, but Looney comes way up, which allows Tillman to get beneath him, which forces Kuminga to tag the roller. There's a swing pass out to that corner. Gigi Jackson knocks down the 3 on the weak side. Now, Kuminga got a decent late contest on that one, but this season, Gigi Jackson is 9 for 18 on catch-and-shoot threes. That's a 75% effective field goal percentage. So, obviously, not the guy you want to leave open in that situation. You want to not let the roller get behind. Your job there as Looney is to stay further back, trust Podziemski to be able to disrupt any mid-range shot or floater from Kennard, as long as Looney stays back where he can see both of Tillman and Kennard, then Kuminga doesn't have to tag the roller and he could stay home and prevent that shot, right? Right after that shot, Steph dribbles up the floor and gets ripped by Jacob Gilyard for a pick six. Which, by the way, Steph got ripped in the backcourt twice down the stretch, which is super bizarre. Now the Warriors are down 6. Next defensive possession, same exact thing. The only difference is this time Kuminga's on Kennard and Steph is guarding G.G. Jackson. Same exact thing. Kennard's over, Kuminga's over the top. Great athlete. Kennard shoots a floater or a pull-up jump shot. Kuminga's blocking that. But Looney comes way up out of his drop coverage, forces Steph to come down and tag the roller. Kuminga peels off to go down and crack Steph out of that position. Steph goes back to close out, but he's too slow. G.G. Jackson makes another 3. And again, making half of them this year. Then Kuminga is posting up on the left block. This was an offensive possession for the Warriors. And I actually clipped this play and put it on my Twitter feed. Steph is screaming and pointing at Podziemski because he's wide open. He's drawing a double team. Kuminga's not looking. The double team probably would have led to a rotation that would have got Steph a wide open 3 in the right corner. Instead, Kuminga turns it over and they go down the floor in transition and Kennard gets a 3. Now it's a 10-point lead with 7 minutes left. You'll notice I didn't say anything about guys getting toasted off the dribble, did I? I didn't say anything about guys getting physically overwhelmed. This is execution stuff. That's a 17-point swing, mostly off of execution. Golden State has good defensive personnel. Draymond Green is still one of the best defensive anchors in the league. They have athletes on the perimeter like Andrew Wiggins and Jonathan Kuminga and Moses Moody. Brandon Podziemski is a good young point of attack defender. Steph and Clay are 2 really smart team defenders. Most of this is execution. It was bad offense, putting them into misbalanced transition defense situations to give up open shots. And then it was mistakes. Over-helping strong side corner 1 pass away. Looney too high in his drop coverage. Brandon Podziemski falling asleep off the ball and having to foul a 3-point shooter. Dario Saric over-helping in a transition situation. A bad closeout from Draymond Green. These are all fixable problems. Which takes me back to the theme that I was talking about in the Lakers segment at the top of the show. Golden State has been playing bad basketball. Like, from the top down, the lineup construction isn't working. The effort and execution isn't there. The buy-in isn't there. The inconsistent rotation is leading to the young players struggling on a night-to-night basis. It's a coaching issue. Steph's playing like shit. Oh, they're 3-8 in their last 11 games. Steph in that span, 22.5 points per game, only 3 rebounds, 38% from the field, 33% from 3. Kerr's not doing a good enough job. Steph Curry's not doing a good enough job. Draymond Green took himself away from the team for a month. Like, a lot of this is self-inflicted. 3 things need to happen for Golden State to turn this season around, in my opinion. 1, lineup consistency until the deadline. Get Draymond back in with the starters. I personally would go with Draymond, Kuminga, Wiggins, Steph, Clay. I'd ride that out until the deadline. But no matter what, get consistent rotation minutes for the young players so that they can build confidence and rhythm, not constantly staring at the bench, terrified they're going to get taken out if they make a mistake. Let them play free. Secondly, Steph's got to get it together. Went over the numbers earlier. I'm sure he's frustrated and annoyed at the situation. I'm sure there's a little bit of that LeBron stuff I'm talking about with midseason malaise and frustration with the roster. He's not been good on defense or on the glass either. So, Steph at a certain point needs to kind of be like, he needs to get some sort of assurance from the front office they're going to do something. Then he needs to lock in and try to win as many games as possible until February 8th. And then lastly, they need to trade for a high-level starter at the deadline. I actually think they have a decent shot at Siakam. I've seen some of the proposed offers. A lot of teams are pulling punches. There's the extension thing. I think they have a decent shot to get him, and he'd help in every single phase of the game. He'd help with their defensive front line. He'd help with slotting in perimeter defense. He'd help with them on the glass. He'd help them with slotting on offense so that you don't have guys above their pay grade on offense. He'd help them with staggering in non-Steph lineups. He'd help lighten Steph's workload so he doesn't have to do as much offensively, especially over the course of a playoff series. A guy like Siakam would help with everything. And then from there, you do what the Lakers did last year and you make a run. You play really good basketball for 25 games to end the season, and then you roll that momentum into the playoffs. I mean, I just want to see it. I don't know about you guys. I'm a fan of the game, and I'm a fan of Steph. He's my second favorite player in the league. That said, I'm not one of those guys who has a deep rooting interest in the Warriors. That said, like, I'm just not ready for this to be over. I want to see them give it one more chance. Especially with how frustrating last year was. I want to see them retool, and I want to see them give it a chance.